Hey guys, YouTube War 100 here, and a Merry Christmas to everybody. Yeah, I hope it is like a very Merry Christmas for all of you, wherever you are, whether you're staying at home or spending it with family and friends. Yeah, whatever you're doing for Christmas, hope it's a very Merry Christmas for all of you. Yeah, alright, yeah. And now here I am for Christmas Day to complete these Nickelodeon Christmas special reviews. Yeah. And to finish them off, I'm going to be concluding with a review for the The Adventures of Pete and Pete, a Christmas episode. Oh, Christmas Pete. So yeah, so I'm sure that if you watch Nickelodeon in the '90s, like you do, know the Adventures of Pete and Pete. Yeah, this show, this has been like a very popular show among '90s Nickelodeon fans. Yeah, I mean, it's not really talked about like today by a lot of people, but yeah, back in the '90s, and for people that did actually watched Nickelodeon in the '90s. Yeah, this is a show that is popular among '90s kids. Yeah, I mean this was just like a really popular show. It was really regarded to be like one of the best written kids shows of all time. Yeah. So this show really did leave like a really big impact for '90s kids. Yeah, I admittedly didn't really watch this show all that much. Like I did watch some episodes of it, but it wasn't a show that I did really watch all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So what this show was about, it was about two brothers that were both named Pete, that were played by Michael Morana, who you may also know as Jeff in the first two Home Alone movies. Yeah, Michael Morana actually did play Jeff, Kevin's a redheaded brother in the first two Nickelodeon movies. I mean Nickelodeon movies, the first two Home Alone movies. Yeah, I don't know why I said Nickelodeon movies right there. Yeah, the first two Home Alone movies. So yeah, so interesting that I'm talking about it right now. Yeah. Yeah, so it starred Michael Morana and Danny Tamborelli as Big Pete and Little Pete, as they were referred to. Yeah, and this show really was just about the two of them really just on just some humorous and surreal adventures. There's among some friends, enemies, and neighbors. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't really watch this show all the time. Like I didn't watch it regularly, but yeah, I did watch some episodes, and I admittedly don't really have a very good memory of a lot of the episodes now. But yeah, one of the one episode from the show that I really have always remembered was the Mr. Tasty episode. I believe it was called What We Did on Our Summer Vacation, which was just the fourth episode of the show. Yeah, that's the one episode from the show that I have always remembered. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, this show really did really leave a big impact for '90s Nickelodeon fans. Yeah, and it really does have a really catchy theme song as well. Like that's something else a lot of people have really talked about is just the theme song, because yeah, the theme song is really catchy and memorable too. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So this special, um like aired during the third season of the show. This was the 11th episode of the third season of the show, and this originally aired in December 1996. Yeah, and I did what this special really did do. What it's really about is how like it actually takes place after Christmas rather than before or on Christmas. Yeah, and what it's about is just it's after Christmas, and little Pete really just wants to really keep the Christmas this joy going, and really just really keep the spirit alive. And so what he decides to do is really he keeps Christmas alive, and he just prolongs it by having a just continuing all the stuff that people do for Christmas, whether it's presents and fruitcake and caroling and like uh Christmas plays, and yeah, just a lot of the other things that Christmas has really been known for. Yeah, he really just wants to continue it. So yeah, so it really is kind of treating it as sort of a Christmas everyday kind of story. But yeah, it's not really something where the day is repeating itself. What it's really just how they're continuing doing just Christmas related stuff. as like they throughout the days, like they just like do different sort of like a Christmas related stuff like every single day, because like there are days that they're singing carols, other days they're like actually putting on like Christmas shows, and yeah, and they're just like doing different things like as this whole stuff is going on, yeah. And and while it's going on, there is like this bitter garbage man that really like just wants to take the Wrigley's trees. Yeah, that's Pete and Pete's last name, Wrigley. Yeah, he's like wanting to take their Christmas tree, yeah, out of their house, and he it just really is like he really just does like enjoy like a destroying Christmas trees, and he just wants to like get rid of the holiday spirit that the trees represent. Yeah, but yeah, well, but as he like keeps like trying to go after the tree, little Pete like refuses to hand it over. So yeah, and then eventually like it gets kind of like a little more complicated, because when the Wrigleys like refuse to hand over the Christmas tree to him, then the garbage man just decides that he will not be picking up the Wrigley's garbage until he does get the tree. Yeah, and so then like it shows then how like the like their garbage is like really piling up. They're like getting like just like this huge wall of garbage, and it really does like start to like affect like the neighbors as well. Because yeah, the neighbors can really just like the scent of the garbage is just like going through down the entire street, and yeah, and even the neighbors really like get upset about it. And so then like eventually like neighbors and like Pete and Pete's like classmates, and yeah, just like a whole bunch of people really do start to like kind of rally up against them, and they really are like just like pretty much like trying to really get Pete, like little Pete, to cough up the Christmas tree, but he still does like refuse to do it. Yeah, yeah, then yeah, and then eventually then when it seems that like the garbage man really has like overpowered like Christmas spirit and stuff, like little Pete is really like about to hand over the tree, but then Big Pete and the parents like actually do stuff to really like make the Christmas spirit even stronger, and they wind up defeating the garbage man in the end. So yeah, so I actually do like what this does. I really do like how it really kind of like goes more outside of the box and really like do something like that's more original. Like I'm sure that there are like some other Christmas movies and specials that have really like done the story before. Like I know like the Christmas Every Day kind of story, it has been done before, such as like in Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, and there was the Fairly Odd Parents Christmas special, Christmas Every Day. And I'm sure like there's been like some other specials and movies that have kind of like had that story as well. Yeah, and this does kind of like do it, but it does it differently, like I said. Yeah. So yeah, so I really do actually really like what this episode really does give us. So yeah, so I really do think that it is a pretty good Christmas special, and unlike the other ones I really have talked about, I think that you could really like I wouldn't really like argue if people really did like put this in one of the best Nickelodeon Christmas specials. Because I really could understand like if people would put this in like the top 10 best Nickelodeon Christmas specials of all time, because yeah, it actually is like a pretty good Christmas special. So yeah, so of all the ones that I really have talked about in this like series of reviews where I've been like talking about these Nickelodeon Christmas specials, such as like yeah, in this lineup that I've done, like the ones I started last year and now have like continued now, yeah, I'd say that this is probably the best one that I have talked about. Yeah. So yeah, so what can I really say about it? It is overall a pretty good Christmas special, and I do think that it is definitely worth a watch. So yeah, so if you haven't seen it before, like give this special a watch, because yeah, it really does tell like a really good story. All right, so I'll just like I'll talk a little bit about the premise of the episode. Yeah. So yeah, so like pretty much all the episodes of the show, like it opens up with a narration from Big Pete talking about how like Christmas is really like the greatest time of the year and stuff, and how like before like people can like really like deck the halls, like it ends. Yeah, like he's talking about how like little Pete really is like really in the Christmas spirit, and he just does not want it to go away. So he decides to like keep it living by like continuing on. And it's talked about how like over the next few days, like it was like Christmas again, but like, yeah, like I said, they were like changing it up, so it wasn't like a repeating over and over. Like they were like it showed how like they were having fruitcake and giving presents and singing Christmas carols and yeah, all that other stuff. Yeah, and at first, like, it was going just fine. Like, there were no problems with it. Yeah, until like the garbage man showed up, and it showed how like the dad, Don, was telling little Pete how the garbage man would be coming for the treat. Yeah, and when the garbage man then arrived, like, it showed how like the garbage man was just a very bitter and quite frankly menacing person, and he just kind of seemed to be like this like kind of like somebody that really did like his job too much. Yeah. And yeah, and the garbage man like was going, of course, for the tree and was pretty much just telling the Wrigleys to hand it over. But like I said, Little Pete refused to give the tree to the garbage man. Yeah, so the garbage man left without the tree. Yeah, and then it showed how like later that night, like the garbage man came back and tried to get the tree, but Little Pete still refused to hand the tree over. Yeah, and so then the garbage man just told the Wrigleys that until he gets the tree, he will not be picking up their garbage, which yeah, I really don't think you can actually do that. I don't think a real garbage man can actually just like leave someone's garbage there. Yeah. But yeah, this is a show, so what am I really complaining about with that? Yeah. And like I said, like then like as it continued on, the Wrigley's garbage just really like piled up. They were getting like a huge wall full of garbage bags, and it just showed how like it was really starting to stink up the street. Yeah, and like I was saying, like other neighbors were like really smelling it, and were really against the Wrigleys, and like a Big Pete was telling a Little Pete that his classmates were like starting to call him like a garbage boy. So this whole thing with their garbage not being picked up, it really was really making things more complicated. But Little Pete still was still in the Christmas spirit, and would still was refusing to give up the tree. Yeah, and then later on, like as pretty much all the neighbors and people that were living on the street were rallying against the Wrigleys, Little Pete then had the idea of how to keep it going, and so then a Little Pete had this a whole thing where he had was having people try to come up to challenge Santa, and it was and all the neighbors that were rallying against them just couldn't bring themselves to actually fight Santa. But then the garbage man then arrived and challenged Santa. So then yeah, and Santa was getting overpowered by the garbage man, and then eventually Little Pete just threw in the towel and called it. And at that point, that was when Little Pete just felt he was defeated, and the Christmas spirit had just been overpowered. And so as a Little Pete felt that now he pretty much had to hand over the tree. As he was doing it, then Big Pete then was talking about how he felt that there was something that he could do for Little Pete to help him. Yeah, and just as before the Christmas tree could actually be shredded and compacted, then Big Pete gave a signal, and it showed how there then a whole bunch of Christmas trees lit up, and there were just a whole bunch of Christmas decorations around the entire street that were made out of all the Wrigley's garbage. Yeah. Yeah, and seeing that, it was just showing how much more powerful the Christmas spirit really was than the garbage man. Yeah, and then that then got all the other neighbors and everybody on the street back into the Christmas spirit as well. Yeah, even when the garbage man was trying to tell the people that it was just garbage, it just like trees and other lights just continued to light up, and yeah, and it just then the garbage man then was starting to get this feeling inside of him, feeling warm and stuff, and others like Big Pete and others were then telling him that he was starting to feel the Christmas spirit. And so then yeah, then the garbage man then just kind of stood there in defeat as Little Pete kind of gave him a pat on the back, and it just showed how everybody was walking down the streets heat with all the Christmas trees and lights. And yeah, and then it ended with a more narration from Big Pete saying how no holiday can last the whole year, but there was a lot more peace on Earth, and a lot of peace to go around on the street. Yeah, and then that's how the special ended. So yeah, so like I said, I really do like what this special really does. I like how it really kind of like goes down the Christmas every day route, but does it in a different way. And I like what it does, and I really just do like how little Pete is just like so much in the Christmas spirit that even like when things get tougher, he still does not give up on it and still like holds on to the spirit and doesn't give in to like the other people's ways despite how bad things did get with like the garbage and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, so I really do like what the special really does do. Yeah, and I like the message that it really does send. How like despite the fact that Christmas really doesn't really last forever, like the impact that it leaves can last the entire year. So yeah, so I really do like how this special really does like send that message. Yeah. So what can I really say? Like it is like a really good special, and like I said, I really would understand if people would put this in the top 10 best Nickelodeon Christmas specials. So yeah. So if you haven't seen this special before, give it a watch. It is a really good special. Yeah. And if you haven't never seen the Adventures of Pete and Pete before, like I was talking about with 100 Each Freddy McDowd, the show is not actually on a Paramount Plus, but yeah, like 100 Each Freddy McDowd. Like there's a playlist of pretty much the entire show on YouTube. So yeah, so I'll have a link for the playlist down there if you want to check it out, and if you want to check out some episodes of the show, because yeah, like I said, it really was popular among a lot of '90s kids. So yeah, so if you want to watch some episodes of The Adventures of Pete and Pete, there'll be a playlist in the description of all the episodes of the show that you can check out if you want to. All right. So yeah. So I guess that's all I really have to say about it. All right. So yeah. So this does it for my review of the Adventures of Pete and Pete Christmas special. Oh, Christmas Pete. Yeah. And this does it for these Nickelodeon Christmas special reviews. Yeah, that takes care of them. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah, so I hope that you guys did enjoy these Nickelodeon Christmas special reviews. Yeah, and I'm sorry that like last year I had to abruptly stop them, but it was because of the unfortunate circumstances I talked about last year. But I am happy that now that I did get this laptop, I was able to now finish them this year for you guys. So yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy watching these Nickelodeon Christmas special reviews, both last year and this year. Yeah, so yeah, so I'm glad that I could now finish these for you guys. Yeah, and now that these have been like taken care of, now that they've concluded, now I can get into talking about some other stuff for you guys and like like the get like just the regular videos back out for you guys as well. So yeah, so I got some more stuff coming. So tune in to see what I've got coming for you guys. Nice now, yeah. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy these Nickelodeon Christmas special reviews. Yeah. So thanks for watching. Merry Christmas to everybody. And I'll see you guys later.